Emma Price was just a quiet rookie nurse. Until a dying Navy SEAL arrived with 3 bullets in his chest. The trauma surgeon was 40 minutes away. The SEAL had 5 minutes to live. Emma stepped forward with steady hands and extracted all 3 bullets perfectly. Then the FBI asked, "How did you learn to do that?" Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The emergency room at midnight was quiet. Too quiet. Nurses walked slowly between beds. Machines beeped in steady rhythm. Dr. Sarah Chin stood at the nurse's station, filling out paperwork. Everything was normal. Everything was calm. Then the doors exploded open. 2 paramedics rushed inside, pushing a stretcher at full speed. A man lay on top, covered in blood. His tactical vest was torn. His face was pale white. Gunshot victim. 3 entry wounds. No exit wounds. Blood pressure dropping fast, the lead paramedic shouted. The emergency room came alive. Doctors ran from all directions. Nurses grabbed equipment. Everyone moved with purpose. Dr. Chen reached the stretcher first. She looked down at the patient. Her eyes went wide. This was not a normal shooting victim. This man wore military gear. His dog tag said, "Lieutenant Marcus Hall, U.S. Navy SEAL. Get me vitals now. Start 2 large-bore IVs. Someone call the trauma surgeon." Dr. Chen ordered. A young nurse stepped forward. Her name was Emma Price. She had only been working at this hospital for 3 months. Most people did not even know her name. She was always quiet, always in the background. Emma looked at the Navy SEAL. 3 bullet holes marked his chest. They were placed in a perfect triangle pattern. Not random. Not accidental. These bullets were fired by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Dr. Chen pressed her hands against the wounds, trying to stop the bleeding. But blood kept pouring out. The SEAL's breathing became shallow. His skin turned gray. "Where is the trauma surgeon?" Dr. Chen screamed. "He's in another surgery. He can't come for at least 40 minutes, a nurse replied. 40 minutes? This man has maybe 5 minutes. Dr. Chen said. The monitors started screaming. The SEAL's heart rate was dropping. His blood pressure was crashing. He was dying right in front of them. Dr. Chen tried everything. She pumped fluids into his veins. She gave him blood transfusions. She pressed harder on the wounds. Nothing worked. The bullets were too deep. They were lodged near vital organs. Without a surgeon, this man would die. We're losing him. Dr. Chen shouted. Emma stood at the edge of the room, watching. Her face showed no emotion. But inside, her mind was racing. She had seen wounds like this before. Not in this hospital. Not in this country. In places far away in war zones. In field hospitals where the lights were dim and the supplies were low. She remembered the sand. The heat, the sound of helicopters, the smell of blood and gunpowder. She remembered the soldiers who came in broken and bleeding. She remembered the ones she saved. And she remembered the ones she couldn't save. Emma took a deep breath. She stepped forward. Move aside, she said quietly. Dr. Chen didn't hear her at first. The room was too loud. Too chaotic. Move aside, Emma said again, louder this time. Dr. Chen looked up. Emma? What are you? I can remove the bullets, Emma said. Her voice was calm. Steady. Not a request. A statement of fact. Everyone in the room stopped. They all stared at Emma. The quiet rookie nurse, the one who never spoke unless spoken to, the one who carried supplies and filled out charts. You're a nurse, not a surgeon, Dr. Chen said. I know, Emma replied. But I've done this before. Dr. Chen hesitated. The monitors were still screaming. The seal's breathing was getting weaker. They were out of time. Out of options. Fine, Dr. Chen said, stepping back. Do it. Emma moved to the table. She tied her hair back. She put on fresh gloves. She picked up a scalpel. Her hands did not shake. Her breathing did not change. She was completely focused. She looked at the first bullet wound. It was positioned just below the rib cage, near the liver. One wrong move and the patient would bleed out in seconds. But Emma had steady hands. Hands that had worked in war zones, hands that had saved lives under gunfire. She made a small incision around the wound. She used forceps to gently spread the tissue. She could see the bullet lodged deep inside. It was stuck between muscle and organ. She carefully reached in with the extraction tool. The room was silent. Everyone held their breath. Emma pulled slowly. Steadily. The bullet began to move. Millimeter by millimeter. Finally, it came free. She lifted it out completely intact. Not a single fragment broken off. Not a single artery torn. She placed the bullet in a metal tray. It made a soft clinking sound. One down, she said. Dr. Chen stared in shock. That's impossible. No nurse can do that. Emma didn't respond. She was already working on the second bullet. This one was even deeper. It was lodged near the heart. The most dangerous position. If she made one mistake, the seal would die instantly. But Emma's hands moved with perfect precision. She had done this dozens of times before. Intense lit by flashlights that in the back of shaking helicopters. In places where there were no trauma surgeons. Only medics, only soldiers trying to save each other. She extracted the second bullet the same way. Slow. Careful. Complete. 2 down, she said, placing it in the tray next to the first. The third bullet was the hardest. It was near the spine. Surrounded by nerves. One wrong movement could paralyze the patient for life. Emma took a moment. She closed her eyes. She remembered her training. She remembered her instructor's voice. Stay calm. Stay focused. The patient's life is in your hands. She opened her eyes and went to work. This extraction took longer. 3 minutes that felt like 3 hours. But finally, the third bullet came free. Intact. Perfect. 3 down, Emma said. The monitors stopped screaming. The seal's heart rate stabilized. His blood pressure started to rise. He was breathing on his own again. Dr. Chen looked at the 3 bullets in the tray. All of them were completely intact. No damage. No fragments. That meant something important. It meant the police could trace these bullets. They could find the gun that fired them. They could find the person who tried to kill this Navy SEAL. How did you do that? Dr. Chen asked. Emma pulled off her gloves. I told you. I've done this before. Where? When? No nursing school teaches that. Emma didn't answer. She just walked toward the sink to wash her hands. Before Dr. Chen could ask again, the emergency room doors opened. 2 people in dark suits walked in. They wore badges on their belts. FBI agents. The lead agent was a woman in her 40s. She had sharp eyes and moved with authority. Her partner was a younger man with a tablet in his hands. I'm Special Agent Rebecca Torres, the woman said. This is Agent David Kim. We're here about the shooting victim. Dr. Chen stepped forward. He's stable now. We removed the bullets. Agent Torres looked at the metal tray. Her eyes narrowed. All 3 bullets are intact. That's very unusual. Most extractions damage the bullets. Who performed the removal? Everyone in the room turned to look at Emma. She was still standing by the sink, drying her hands. Agent Torres walked over to her. You removed these bullets? Yes, Emma said. What's your name? Emma Price. And you're a surgeon here? No. I'm a nurse. Agent Torres raised an eyebrow. A nurse? How long have you been practicing medicine? 3 months at this hospital, Emma said. Agent Torres looked confused. 3 months. Then how did you learn to extract bullets like this? Emma met her eyes. I used to be a combat medic. I served in Afghanistan for 6 years. The room went completely silent. Agent Torres studied Emma's face. What unit? 75th Ranger Regiment, Medical Detachment. Agent Kim typed something on his tablet. After a few seconds, he looked up at Agent Torres and nodded. It was true. Emma's military record confirmed it. Why didn't you tell anyone here that you have that kind of training? Dr. Chen asked. Emma finally turned around. Because I left that life behind. I came here to be a normal nurse. To help people in a normal hospital. Not to do emergency battlefield surgery. Agent Torres stepped closer. Ms. Price, we need to ask you about these bullets. What about them? Emma asked. Did you notice anything unusual about them? Emma looked at the tray. They're custom made. Not standard military issue. Not civilian rounds either. The weight distribution is different. They're designed to enter the body but not exit. Maximum internal damage, minimum external evidence. Agent Torres and Agent Kim exchanged a glance. That's very observant, Agent Torres said. Most people wouldn't notice that. I'm not most people, Emma said. Agent Torres nodded slowly. No, you're not. She paused. Ms. Price, these bullets match a pattern we've been tracking for 6 months. 3 other shootings. All victims were military personnel. All shot with the same type of custom ammunition. Until tonight, we never recovered the bullets intact. The other victims all died before surgery. Emma felt a chill run down her spine. So this wasn't random. No, Agent Torres said. This was an assassination attempt. And you just gave us the first real evidence we've had in this case. Dr. Chen looked shocked. You're saying someone is hunting military personnel? That's exactly what I'm saying, Agent Torres replied. And whoever is doing this knows how to cover their tracks. They use bullets that don't leave exit wounds. They shoot in places without cameras. They time their attacks perfectly. Until tonight, they were invisible. Agent Kim looked at Emma. You saved this man's life. But you also saved our investigation. Emma didn't respond. She was thinking about the Navy SEAL lying on the table. Someone had tried to kill him with professional precision. Someone trained. Someone dangerous. I need to ask you something, Agent Torres said. Can you look at the bullet wounds again? Tell me what you see. Emma walked back to the table. The Navy SEAL was unconscious but stable. She looked at the 3 entry wounds. They formed a perfect triangle on his chest. She studied the spacing. The angle, the depth. The shooter knew exactly where to aim, Emma said. These aren't kill shots. Not immediately. They're designed to cause internal bleeding. Slow death. The victim would have maybe 30 minutes before dying. Time for the shooter to leave the scene before anyone realizes what happened. Why would someone shoot to kill slowly instead of quickly? Dr. Chen asked. Emma's jaw tightened. Because they wanted it to look like the victim died in the hospital. Not at the scene. It creates distance between the shooter and the death. Makes it harder to prove murder. Agent Torres nodded. That's what we suspected. But until now, we couldn't prove it. All the other victims died before they reached the hospital. Autopsies showed bullet wounds, but without the actual bullets, we couldn't trace the weapon. We couldn't prove it was the same shooter. But now you can, Emma said. Yes. Thanks to you. Emma looked down at the Navy SEAL. Who is he? Why would someone want him dead? Agent Torres hesitated. I can't share classified information. But I can tell you this. Lieutenant Marcus Hall was working on a sensitive military investigation. He was about to expose something big. Someone wanted to silence him before he could report his findings. What was he investigating? Emma asked. I can't tell you that, Agent Torres said. But I can tell you that your quick action tonight might have saved more than just his life. You might have saved the entire investigation. The Navy SEAL began to stir. His eyes fluttered open. He looked around the room, confused and disoriented. Where am I? He whispered. Dr. Chen stepped forward. You're in the hospital. You were shot. But you're going to be okay. Lieutenant Hall tried to sit up, but pain shot through his chest. He fell back against the pillow. The bullets. He said weakly. Did they recover the bullets? Agent Torres moved closer. Yes. All three. Completely intact. Relief flooded Lieutenant Hall's face. Good. That's good. I thought I was dead. I thought they won. Who shot you? Agent Torres asked. Lieutenant Hall closed his eyes. I don't know. I was walking to my car. Someone came up behind me. I felt 3 impacts. Then I was on the ground. I didn't see a face. Didn't hear a voice, just 3 shots and then darkness. Do you remember anything else? Any detail, no matter how small? Agent Kim asked. Lieutenant Hall thought for a moment. The gun. It was quiet. Not silent, but quieter than normal. Some kind of suppressor, professional grade. Emma listened carefully. Everything Lieutenant Hall described matched what she saw in the bullet wounds. This was a professional hit. Someone trained. Someone with resources. Agent Torres pulled out a business card and handed it to Emma. Ms. Price, we're going to need your full statement. Not just about the extraction. About what you observed in the wounds. Your military experience gives you unique insight into this case. Emma took the card. I'll help however I can. There's something else, Agent Torres said. The person who did this is still out there. They failed tonight. That means they might try again. Lieutenant Hall is a witness now. He can identify the type of weapon used. That makes him an even bigger target. You think they'll come after him here? In the hospital? Dr. Chen asked, alarm in her voice. It's possible, Agent Torres said. We're going to post guards outside his room. But we need everyone to stay alert. If you see anyone suspicious, call us immediately. Emma looked at Lieutenant Hall. He was barely conscious, still weak from blood loss. But he was alive. Because of her. For the first time in 3 months, Emma felt like herself again. Not the quiet rookie nurse who hid in the background. But the combat medic who ran toward danger when everyone else ran away. I'll keep watch, Emma said. Agent Torres looked at her. That's not your job. I know, Emma said. But I didn't save his life just to let someone finish the job. Agent Torres studied Emma for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay. But you stay in communication with us. Any sign of trouble, you call immediately. Don't try to be a hero. I'm not trying to be a hero, Emma said. I'm just doing my job. Over the next few hours, the hospital settled into a tense calm. Two FBI agents stood guard outside Lieutenant Hall's room. Nurses came and went, checking vitals, adjusting medication. Dr. Chen stayed close, monitoring his recovery. Emma sat in a chair near the window, watching. She had changed shifts with another nurse so she could stay. Something felt wrong. She couldn't explain it. Just a feeling in her gut. The same feeling she used to get in Afghanistan before an attack. Around 3 in the morning, Emma noticed something. A man in a doctor's coat walked past the room. She had never seen him before. He was tall, with dark hair and glasses. He looked down at a clipboard as he walked, like any other doctor making rounds. But something was off. His shoes. They were military boots. Polished black combat boots. Not the kind of shoes a doctor would wear. Emma stood up slowly. She walked to the door and looked down the hallway. The man had stopped at the nurse's station. He was asking questions. Pointing at something on his clipboard. Emma moved closer, staying out of sight. She heard him ask, "Which room is Lieutenant Marcus Hall in?" The nurse at the station hesitated. "I'm sorry, I can't give out patient information." The man smiled. "Of course, hospital policy. I understand. I'm Dr. Wilson from Walter Reed Medical Center. I was sent to consult on the lieutenant's case. I just need to review his chart before I go in." The nurse looked uncertain. "I wasn't told about any consultant coming." "Last-minute request," the man said smoothly. "You know how the military is. Everything is urgent and classified." He laughed, trying to seem friendly. But Emma saw something the nurse didn't see. The man's hand was resting on his belt. Right where someone might keep a concealed weapon. Emma pulled out her phone and texted Agent Torres, "Suspicious man at nurse's station. Claims to be doctor from Walter Reed, wearing combat boots under his coat, asking about Lieutenant Hall's room." Seconds later, Agent Torres texted back, "Stall him. We're on our way." Emma walked up to the nurse's station. "Excuse me, Dr. Wilson. I'm Emma, one of the nurses on Lieutenant Hall's case. Can I see your hospital credentials?" The man turned to look at her. For just a second, his friendly mask slipped. Emma saw cold calculation in his eyes. Then the smile returned. "Of course," he said. He reached into his coat pocket. Emma tensed. If he pulled out a weapon, she was ready to react. Her combat training was coming back. Muscle memory. Survival instinct. But the man pulled out a hospital ID badge. It looked legitimate. Photo, name, barcode. Everything seemed correct. Emma took the badge and studied it carefully. Then she noticed something. The badge said, "Walter Reed National Military Medical Center." But the barcode at the bottom was wrong. She had seen these badges before. The barcode format was different. This badge was fake. Very good, but fake. Emma handed it back. "Thank you. I'll take you to Lieutenant Hall's room." The man smiled. "Perfect." Emma started walking down the hallway. The man followed. But instead of going to Lieutenant Hall's room, Emma led him in the opposite direction. Toward the security office. "This isn't the right way," the man said. "Oh, sorry," Emma said. "I'm still new here. I get turned around sometimes. Let me check the room number." She pulled out her phone, pretending to look up the information. But she was really checking to see if Agent Torres had arrived yet. The man's patience was running out. "I thought you said you were on his case. You should know which room he's in." "You're right," Emma said. "I'm sorry. It's been a long shift. Follow me." She turned around and started walking back the other way. But she took a different route. One that passed by the security cameras. One that would take them past the FBI agents. The man followed, but Emma could feel his suspicion growing. His hand kept moving toward his belt. He was getting ready to make a move. They turned a corner. The FBI agents were there, standing outside Lieutenant Hall's room. The man saw them. He froze. "Dr. Wilson," Emma said loudly, "these FBI agents will need to verify your credentials before you enter the room. Hospital security policy for all law enforcement-related cases." Agent Torres stepped forward. "Dr. Wilson. I don't believe we've met. I'm Special Agent Torres. Can I see some identification?" The man's eyes darted from Torres to Emma to the other agent. He was calculating his options. Fight or run? He chose run. The man turned and sprinted down the hallway. Agent Kim immediately gave chase. Agent Torres pulled out her radio. "Suspect fleeing East Hallway, 3rd floor. Male, 6 feet tall, dark hair, wearing doctor's coat over dark clothing. Consider armed and dangerous." Emma ran after them. Her combat training kicked in. She knew how to pursue. How to track, how to corner. The man burst through a stairwell door. Agent Kim was right behind him. Emma followed, taking the steps 2 at a time. They went down 1 floor, then another. The man was fast. Trained. This was not a normal assassin. This was someone with military experience. On the 1st floor, the man shoved open a door and ran into the parking garage. Agent Kim was closing the distance. Emma was right behind him. The man reached into his coat. He pulled out a gun. A compact pistol with a suppressor attached. "Gun!" Emma shouted. Agent Kim dove behind a car. Emma did the same. A bullet hit the concrete pillar next to her head. Quiet. Just like Lieutenant Hall had described. The man fired 2 more shots, then turned and ran toward a motorcycle parked near the exit. Agent Kim returned fire. 1 shot. 2 shots. The second bullet hit the man in the leg. He stumbled but kept running. He jumped on the motorcycle and started the engine. More FBI agents came running from the hospital entrance. They raised their weapons. "FBI! Stop!" one of them shouted. But the man gunned the engine and raced toward the exit. Agents scattered. The motorcycle roared out of the parking garage and disappeared into the night. Agent Torres came running up, breathing hard. "Did anyone get the license plate?" "No plate," Agent Kim said. He removed it. Emma walked over to where the man had been standing. There was blood on the ground. Agent Kim's bullet had hit him. "We wounded him," Emma said. "He'll need medical attention. He can't get far." Agent Torres nodded. "We'll put out an alert to all hospitals and clinics in the area. If he shows up for treatment, we'll grab him." They went back inside the hospital. Security guards were everywhere now. The entire building was on lockdown. No one in or out without showing ID. Agent Torres pulled Emma aside. "That was good work. You spotted him before he could get to Lieutenant Hall." "He had a fake badge," Emma said. "Very good quality. If I hadn't looked closely, I would have missed it." "How did you know to look?" Emma shrugged. "The boots. Doctors don't wear combat boots." Agent Torres smiled slightly. "You have good instincts." "Combat training," Emma said. "You learn to notice things. Details that don't fit." They walked back to Lieutenant Hall's room. He was awake now, sitting up in bed. When he saw Emma, his eyes widened. "You're the one who saved me," he said. "I'm Emma. I'm one of the nurses here. The FBI told me what you did. The bullet extraction. They said it was perfect. Surgical precision." He paused. "They also said you used to be a combat medic." Emma nodded. "What unit?" Lieutenant Hall asked. 75th Rangers. Lieutenant Hall's expression changed. Respect, recognition, Rangers lead the way. All the way, Emma replied automatically. It was an old motto. One she hadn't said in 3 years. Why did you leave? Lieutenant Hall asked. Emma was quiet for a moment. I lost someone. My partner, during a mission. I couldn't save him. After that, I couldn't stay. Every time I picked up a scalpel, I saw his face. Lieutenant Hall nodded slowly. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago, Emma said. But her voice said it wasn't. Not really. Tonight, you saved my life, Lieutenant Hall said. I don't know how to thank you for that. You don't have to thank me. I was just doing my job. No, Lieutenant Hall said firmly. You went beyond your job. You used skills you've been trying to forget. Skills that bring back painful memories. You did that for me. For a stranger. That means something. Emma didn't know what to say. Agent Torres entered the room. Lieutenant, we need to talk about what you were investigating. Lieutenant Hall looked at Emma, then back at Torres. Can she stay? She's earned it. Agent Torres considered this. She's not cleared for classified information. Then declassify it, Lieutenant Hall said. If someone is trying to kill me over this, other people deserve to know the truth. Agent Torres sighed. Fine. But this doesn't leave this room. She pulled out her tablet and showed them a series of photos. Military personnel, all of them dead. All of them shot with the same pattern of 3 bullets. For the past 6 months, someone has been systematically killing military investigators, Agent Torres said. All of them were working on the same case. A corruption investigation inside the military supply chain. What kind of corruption? Emma asked. The worst kind, Lieutenant Hall said. Someone has been stealing weapons and selling them to foreign buyers. Not small stuff. Heavy weapons, missiles, artillery. Millions of dollars worth of equipment that's supposed to be destroyed is instead being sold on the black market. Emma felt cold. How high up does this go? We don't know yet, Agent Torres said. That's what Lieutenant Hall was trying to find out when he was shot. He was getting close to identifying the person at the top of the operation. Do you know who it is? Emma asked. Lieutenant Hall shook his head. I have a list of suspects. But no proof. That's why they tried to kill me. They're afraid I'll find the evidence I need. Where is this list? Agent Torres asked. Lieutenant Hall touched his chest, where the bullets had entered. I encrypted it and uploaded it to a secure server. If I die, the list automatically gets sent to the Secretary of Defense. But if I survive, I can access it and continue the investigation. So by saving your life, I saved the investigation, Emma said. Exactly, Lieutenant Hall replied. Agent Torres's phone rang. She answered it, listened, then her face went pale. What is it? Agent Kim asked. They found the shooter. The one from tonight. The motorcycle crashed 3 miles from here. He's dead. Self-inflicted gunshot wound. The room went silent. He killed himself rather than be captured, Lieutenant Hall said. That's professional loyalty. He was protecting someone. Or he was afraid of what would happen if he talked, Agent Torres said. Emma thought about this. Whoever is running this operation has enough power to make people choose death over capture. That means they can reach people anywhere. Even in prison. Even in witness protection. That's why we need to move fast, Lieutenant Hall said. Before they realize I'm still alive and try again. Over the next few days, Emma stayed close to Lieutenant Hall's case. She was officially assigned as his primary nurse, which meant she could monitor him around the clock. The FBI increased security. More agents, more cameras, more precautions. But Emma knew that determined assassins could get through any defense. She had seen it happen in war zones. No place was truly safe. On the third day, Lieutenant Hall was strong enough to sit up and work on his laptop. The FBI had brought him a secure computer. He was accessing the encrypted files he had uploaded before the shooting. Emma brought him his medication. "How's the investigation going?" Lieutenant Hall looked up. "I found something. Something big." "What?" He turned the laptop so she could see. On the screen was a shipping manifest. Lists of weapons, dates, destinations. "These are supposed to be weapons marked for destruction," Lieutenant Hall explained. "Old missiles, artillery shells, rifles. The military regularly destroys outdated or damaged equipment. But according to this manifest, the weapons were never destroyed. They were shipped to a warehouse in Virginia. And then they disappeared." "Disappeared how?" "The warehouse burned down 2 months ago. Officially, it was an accident. Electrical fire. Everything inside was destroyed. But I don't think that's true. I think someone set the fire to cover up the theft." Emma studied the manifest. "How much equipment are we talking about?" "Enough to supply a small army," Lieutenant Hall said. "Hundreds of weapons, thousands of rounds of ammunition. Anti-tank missiles, heavy machine guns. All of it gone. And you think someone inside the military stole it?" "I know they did." The manifest was signed by a colonel. Colonel Richard Morrison. He authorized the shipment to the warehouse. He was responsible for making sure the weapons were destroyed. But instead, he sold them. "Do you have proof?" Lieutenant Hall nodded. "Financial records. Bank transfers. Morrison has been receiving payments from a shell company based in the Cayman Islands. Payments that match the dates of the missing shipments." "That's enough to arrest him," Emma said. "Yes. But Morrison isn't working alone. He's too low-level to organize something this big. Someone above him is calling the shots." "Who?" "I don't know yet. But I'm getting close." That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the investigation. About the weapons. About the people who had been killed to keep this secret. She got up and walked to the hospital cafeteria. It was 2 a.m. The cafeteria was empty except for one other person. Dr. Chen sat at a table, drinking coffee and reading a medical journal. "Can't sleep?" Dr. Chen asked when Emma sat down. "Too much on my mind," Emma said. "I can imagine. It's not every day you save a Navy SEAL and uncover a military corruption scandal." Emma smiled slightly. "When you put it that way, it sounds dramatic." "It is dramatic," Dr. Chen said. She put down her journal. "Emma, I need to ask you something. Why did you hide your military training when you applied here?" Emma was quiet for a moment. "Because I wanted to start over. I wanted to be just a normal nurse. Not a combat medic. Not someone who had to make life-and-death decisions under fire. Just someone who helped people in a safe, normal hospital." "But that's not who you are," Dr. Chen said gently. "You're not built for safe and normal. You're built for crisis. For the moments when everyone else freezes and someone needs to act." "Maybe," Emma said. "But that doesn't mean I want to go back to that life." "I don't think you ever left it," Dr. Chen said. "I think you've been hiding from it. But hiding doesn't make it go away." Emma didn't have an answer for that. They sat in silence for a while, drinking coffee and thinking about the future. The next morning, Agent Torres came to the hospital with news. "We arrested Colonel Morrison," she said. "He's in custody. And he's talking." "Did he give up his boss?" Lieutenant Hall asked. "Yes. A general. General Kenneth Bradley. He's been running the weapons theft operation for over 2 years. Selling to foreign governments, terrorist organizations, criminal syndicates. Anyone with enough money. Emma felt sick. A general, someone that high up in the military. We've issued a warrant for his arrest, Agent Torres said. But he's disappeared. We think he knew we were coming. So he's in the wind, Lieutenant Hall said. For now. But we'll find him. Thanks to your investigation, we have all the evidence we need to convict him. It's just a matter of time. Emma hoped that was true. But she knew how these things worked. Powerful people had ways of disappearing. Ways of escaping justice. 2 weeks later, Lieutenant Hall was discharged from the hospital. He was fully recovered. The bullet wounds had healed. He was ready to return to duty. On his last day, he came to say goodbye to Emma. I owe you my life, he said. If there's ever anything I can do for you, just ask. There is one thing, Emma said. What? Find General Bradley. Make sure he pays for what he did. For the people he killed. For the weapons he sold. For all of it. Lieutenant Hall nodded. I will. I promise. They shook hands. Then Lieutenant Hall walked out of the hospital, escorted by FBI agents. Emma watched him go. She felt proud. Proud that she had saved his life. Proud that she had helped stop a dangerous criminal operation. But she also felt something else. A sense of purpose. A reminder of who she used to be. A combat medic who ran toward danger when everyone else ran away. Dr. Chen found her standing by the window. So what now? Dr. Chen asked. What do you mean? Are you going to keep hiding? Keep pretending to be just a normal nurse? Or are you going to accept who you really are? Emma thought about this. I don't know yet. Well, when you figure it out, let me know. Because this hospital could use someone with your skills. Really use them. Not hide them. Emma smiled. I'll think about it. 1 month later, the FBI held a press conference. General Bradley had been captured in Mexico. He was extradited to the United States. He would stand trial for weapons trafficking, corruption, and conspiracy to commit murder. Emma watched the news coverage from her apartment. She felt a sense of closure. Justice had been served. Her phone rang. It was Agent Torres. Have you been watching the news? Torres asked. Yes. I'm glad they caught him. So are we. And we couldn't have done it without you. Your bullet extraction gave us the evidence we needed to start the investigation. Your quick thinking stopped the second assassination attempt. You're a hero, Emma. I'm just a nurse, Emma said. You're more than that. And I think you know it. Emma didn't respond. There's something else, Torres continued. The FBI is expanding our medical forensics team. We need people who understand both medicine and combat situations. People who can analyze evidence from crime scenes involving military personnel or weapons. I'd like you to consider joining us. Not as a field agent. As a consultant. You'd work cases when we need your specific expertise. Emma was surprised. You want me to work for the FBI? Part-time. Contract basis. You could keep your job at the hospital. But when we have a case that needs your skills, you'd help us. What do you think? Emma looked out her window at the city lights. She thought about the Navy SEAL she had saved. About the investigation she had helped solve. About the feeling of purpose she had felt. Can I think about it? Emma asked. Of course. Take all the time you need. After they hung up, Emma sat in the darkness, thinking. She had tried to leave her old life behind. Tried to forget the skills she had learned in war. Tried to be someone different. But maybe Dr. Chen was right. Maybe hiding wasn't the answer. Maybe she could use her skills to help people. Not on a battlefield, but here at home. In hospitals and investigations and the moments when someone with her unique training could make a difference. She picked up her phone and called Agent Torres back. Agent Torres answered on the first ring. Emma. That was quick. Emma took a deep breath. I've made my decision. I'll do it. I'll work with the FBI as a consultant. There was a pause on the other end. Then Torres spoke, her voice warm with approval. I'm glad to hear that. You're making the right choice. I hope so, Emma said. When do I start? We'll send over the paperwork tomorrow. Welcome to the team, Emma. After hanging up, Emma felt something shift inside her. For 3 years, she had been running from her past. Hiding from the person she used to be. But tonight, she had stopped running. She had accepted who she was, a combat medic, a healer, someone who could stay calm when others panicked. The next morning, Emma arrived at the hospital for her shift. Dr. Chen was waiting at the nurse's station. You look different today, Dr. Chen observed. Emma smiled. I feel different. I took your advice. I stopped hiding. The FBI job? Yes. How did you know? Dr. Chen laughed. Agent Torres called me yesterday. She wanted to make sure the hospital would approve part-time consulting work. I told her we'd be proud to have one of our nurses working with the FBI. Emma felt grateful. Thank you. For everything. For believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. You saved a man's life with skills most people don't even know you have, Dr. Chen said. That's not hiding. That's being exactly who you're meant to be. 3 months passed. Emma worked her regular shifts at the hospital, but twice she was called in to help the FBI with complex medical forensics cases. She analyzed gunshot wounds, identified weapons from bullet patterns, and provided expert testimony that helped solve crimes. Lieutenant Hall called her every few weeks to update her on his recovery and thank her again for saving his life. General Bradley was convicted and sentenced to 30 years in federal prison. The weapons trafficking network was dismantled. The military investigators who had been murdered were finally given justice. One evening, Emma stood in the same emergency room where everything had changed. The doors were quiet tonight. No emergencies. No chaos. Just the steady beep of monitors and the soft footsteps of nurses making their rounds. But Emma was ready. Ready for whatever came through those doors. Ready to be the person who ran toward danger instead of away from it. She had finally found her purpose, not by leaving her past behind, but by embracing it. She was a combat medic and a nurse. A healer and a fighter, someone who could save lives in any situation, whether on a battlefield or in a hospital. And she was exactly where she belonged.